Hi, I'm John Woodward with our guest, Pastor Umar Mulinde, who's from Uganda. And he has shared with us his experience of coming from a Muslim background to have faith in Jesus Christ. I'd like to ask you, Pastor Umar, about what it was like for you as you began your spiritual journey with the gospel, as you considered this belief in Islam that Jesus is not the Son of God.
Yeah, number one, I knew and I got to know this, that it was a misconception. One, we used to say that Jesus is not a son of God because we thought that the Christians mean that God sexually had a relationship with Mary. But God is almighty, God says something and it happens. And we had a terminology actually in Arabic which says, "Innama yaqulu kun fayakun." He says, "Let it be," and it was. So Jesus says in the Bible, when you read chapter 8 of John, chapter 8 verse 54, that my Father is the one whom you say that is your God. So Jesus says that, Jesus, according to Islam, is known as a prophet. And now, according to Islam, you are supposed to believe the words of the prophet. And now Prophet Isa is saying that God is his father. So there is no way I can doubt a prophet and then believe other theories. And again, when you look at the Quran, there are a number of verses. I can only point out three. One, chapter 21, which is Surah Al-Anbiya, verse 91. It says that God Almighty breathed into Mary a spirit. And it was because of that spirit that Mary became pregnant and produced a son, Jesus Christ. So it shows that the one who impregnated Mary was God through the power of his spirit. So it's not a physical relationship, but it is a spiritual relationship. And again, in chapter 3, which is Surah Al-Imran, verse 45, it says that God brought good news. And this good news is the good news of a son, and the son is called Al-Masih Isa, who is Jesus Christ. Actually, in the whole Quran, Jesus is the only one who is called a son. Jesus is called a son in the Quran. Others, they say a child of so and so, but Jesus is called a son, specifically a son. It's chapter 19, and actually it's not only a son, it's a holy son. Chapter 19, verse 19 says, that Jesus is a gift of the Holy Son. So I got all those facts and others and believed Jesus.
These are fascinating quotations from the Quran that were actually correlated with what you discovered in the New Testament. Friends, you've been hearing from Pastor Umar Mulinde from Uganda. We would invite you to learn more about his testimony and other aspects of how the gospel relates to Islam by tuning into IMTV for recorded programs. Thanks for joining us.